custom of a village in Chitral, when a mother-in-law could not please her father-in-law, she would do everything with her daughter-in-law, and I was sitting on the side of the road crying while my husband was sitting near me and looking at my face very carefully. My heart was wanting to scratch my husband's face. I could not even imagine that he could be such a vile person. Come on, stop crying now, quickly. We have to go home too. Hearing this, I quickly shook my head in the negative and told him that I will never go with a deceitful person like you. He took a deep breath and started telling me that I did not ask you to marry me. You married me of your own free will. Then you swore to live or die with me, and you promised that you would obey everything I say. Now, when I am telling you about a small custom, why are you being stubborn? After hearing this, I looked at his face with uncertainty and said to him, do you call it a small ritual? Do you want me to please your father and with him? Saying this, I fell silent and started crying. I felt ashamed while talking, but my husband was not ashamed at all. He said, now you will have to do all this. Come on, get up quickly and come home with me. Saying this, he held my hand and started dragging me towards the house. I was looking at his face. I loved his face very much. Islamabad. When I first saw him, his beauty made me crazy about him. At that time, I did not think that he belonged to any other area. He was not even from my community. At that time, I was only haunted by the ghost of love. That day was my first day at the university. I was looking for my room when suddenly I saw a few boys. They beckoned me to them. I was hesitant to go near them, but the girl standing next to me said, you have to go and listen to them. Otherwise, they will keep bothering you for the whole year. Hearing this, I took a deep breath and went toward the group. Edisham was also standing in the same group and was looking at me with smiling eyes. Suddenly, my eyes met his, and I lost my heart right there. It was not that I was a very flirtatious girl. I had never looked up at any boy until now, or thought about any boy. But there was a strange attraction in Edisham that kept pulling me towards him. I would go towards him even unwillingly, and then find a chance to talk to him. My friends often made fun of me for this reason, but I didn't care about what they said. I just had to see my beloved. I was taking my class as usual when suddenly Edisham walked in and said to me that I have to talk to Noreen. Hearing this, the whole class started shouting, "Oh, oh!" The professor also said jokingly, "Edisham's son, you are fine." Edisham laughed and said, "Sir, you were fine before, but now after meeting him, it seems that your condition has worsened." He replied, winking at me. I felt ashamed of his boldness. Apart from that, I was also afraid that a girl from my neighborhood, who was also my classmate, might complain at my house. As soon as I left the class, he was standing in front of me, smiling and looking at me. He said, "What is the use of looking at me secretly? If you have to see me, then look at me openly so that I too can know that a girl is so deeply in love with me." Hearing Edisham's words, I looked at him in surprise. I had no idea that he would know about all this. Seeing my surprised face, he started laughing and said, "Now there is no need to be so surprised. Not only do I know about this act of yours, but the entire university also knows about it." Tears welled up in my eyes after hearing his words. He quickly softened and said, "You don't need to cry. No boy here can bother you. If anyone tries to tease you, tell me. I will break his legs." I raised my head in fear and looked at him. He was really angry at that time. He quickly came to me, and while wiping my tears, he said, "After today, I don't want to see tears in your eyes. Your beautiful eyes look beautiful and shining." A smile spread on my face after hearing his words. And that was the day when I first spoke to Edisham. After that, we started meeting. I often went to meet Edisham on the pretext of university, but one day my cousin saw me. He went home and complained that she was hanging out with a boy from Gilgit. When my father found out about this, he beat me up a lot. My father was more angry because my cousin had told him about the boy from Gilgit. From Edisham's appearance, he thought he belonged to Gilgit, and since his first wife was from Gilgit and had cheated on my father did not trust Gilgit people at all. When I told my father that he was not from Gilgit but from Chitral, he softened a little, but his anger was still at its peak. He told me that after today, I should not hear anything about it if I find out that you are going to meet him again. Or if you are talking to him, I will get you married on the same day. After listening to my father's words, I felt like the seven heavens had fallen on my head. I loved this boy very much, and it was not only difficult but impossible for me to live without him. I could not even imagine any other boy. I fell at his feet and begged him, "Father, for God's sake, do not do such injustice to me." After listening to my words, my father turned his face and told me, "You are not doing a good job for which I should support you. As far as marriage is concerned, you know very well that we do not marry outside the community. And that boy is also from Chitral. We do not even know about the religion of the people of Chitral. They do strange things and have strange customs. People like us cannot live with these people." After hearing my father's words, I quickly shook my head in the negative and told him that, "Don't worry about me, I will take care of everything." But my father was not ready to listen to anything I said. My father had realized that I was not going to manage, so he stopped me from going to the university and also snatched my mobile from my hands. I had become very helpless. I was suffering from strange mental anguish, and I did not understand how to get out of all this. No one was ready to understand and listen to me. When I talked to my mother would scold me and make me quiet. Apart from that, my sister did not talk to me at all. Everyone considered me untouchable. One day I took my friend's mobile and called Etcham. Hearing my voice, he became restless and said anxiously, "Where are you, my friend? Why haven't you been to the university for so many days? Do you have any idea how worried I am because of you?" Seeing the concern for me in his tone, tears welled up in my eyes and I started crying. Seeing me crying like this, Edisham started scolding me and said, "Stop crying like this and tell me what happened." And then I told him about my father. After listening to my words, he became silent for a few moments and said to me, "From what your father is saying, I can clearly see that he will not allow me to marry you under any circumstances." After listening to Edisham's words, I got angry and told him, "For God's sake, don't talk to me like this. You know how much I love you, and living without you is not difficult. It is impossible for me." Edisham explained to me and said that you don't need to cry or be afraid. You just have to meet me once, and I promise you that everything will be fine. After listening to Edisham's words, I told him that Amma will never allow me to leave the house. You have to do what you have to do sitting there. Edisham got annoyed and said that I can't do anything sitting here. You just meet me tomorrow somehow. And then he also told me about the place. After hearing Edisham's words, I was in a state of confusion. I didn't understand what to do, and then I made the worst decision of my life. The next day I went to meet Edisham secretly with my friend. That day I didn't know that I was seeing my parents for the last time. After that, I would never be able to see my parents. I had made an excuse to go to the market. I had just reached the market when suddenly a black car stopped near me. Someone got out of the car and pulled me inside the car. When I was able to think and understand something, I saw Edisham sitting nearby and he was looking at me with smiling eyes. While my cousin's scream was echoing in my mind, who had screamed in fear after seeing me sitting in the car, I hit Edisham hard on the chest and said to him, "What is this? Do you even realize how much wrong you have done?" After listening to me, he started smiling and said, "I have not done any wrong, but I have taken away my right." I looked at his face with scared eyes and asked him, "What are you going to do now?" He started smiling and said, "Now I am going to marry you and take you with me forever." Then he married me and took me to his Chitral forever. I was refusing to go with him because I didn't want to betray my parents, but he made me so helpless and he brainwashed me so expertly that I felt that if I didn't get respect, my life would have no purpose, my life would end forever. And then I came to Chitral with him. The environment of Chitral was even stranger than I thought. The people here were very shameless and shameless. The parents didn't care at all, and their daughters would openly do strange things to boys. They considered all this to be trivial things, whereas in our country, people would even get killed because of them. Sometimes I would ask him about respect in a doubtful manner, and he would get annoyed after hearing my words and fold his hands in front of me and say, "You have seen everything with your own eyes, right? This is what happens here, and this will continue to happen. Your mentioning this repeatedly won't change anything. Please be kind to yourself and be kind to me too." He would scold me and make me quiet, but my surprise would not go away. I could not even imagine that the people here were so dirty. Once or twice, my brother-in-law tried to be free with me, but I slapped him hard on the face. After that, he got scared and never came near me. I had also told my husband about it, but my words had no effect on his modesty. The expressions on his face were completely normal, as if it was no big deal. Rather, it was a trivial matter. Then I realized his pride. How shameless a person he was. It was nothing. Slowly, the whole truth of it came to me. I came to know that the people here are not at all interested in their own wives, but the people here are interested in other people's wives, and this was the norm here. Here, even the father-in-law did not leave his daughter-in-law. When I came to know about this, I felt that the ground had gone from under my feet. I quickly went to my husband and cried in front of him. My husband started looking at my face with disgust. After a while, when he spoke, his tone was very harsh. He said to me, "Why didn't you refuse when I was marrying you? When your father had told you very well that the customs of the people here are strange and strange, you should have left me then. Now don't play these dramas with me." After listening to my husband, I couldn't believe it for a few moments. I couldn't even imagine that he could treat me like this. I held his hands and told him that I did all that for love. I didn't want to lose you. After hearing my words, he started laughing openly and said, "Your parents also loved you, but what did you do to them? You betrayed them and held the hand of a man about whom you know nothing. I have never seen a more foolish girl than you in my entire life." His words felt like they were stabbing me in the heart like a dagger. I could not even imagine that he could show such truth. He left me crying and left the room himself. He stayed out of the house for 2 days. I spent these 2 days with great difficulty. As the time was approaching, I felt like I was holding my breath. I could not help but run away from here. But I could not run away because my mother-in-law was sitting there watching me. During this time, another thing I noticed was that my father-in-law had gone to somewhere. When I talked to my nan about this, my nan started smiling and said that he cannot come to the house until the time is approaching, nor can he see you. I started looking at my nan with uncertainty. I was most saddened by the fact that this ritual was very common here, and every person knew about it. Even the little children on the street knew about it. And now everyone knew that the next turn was not anyone else's, but mine. The women of the village used to congratulate me, as if I was going to do a very good deed or had just returned from Hajj. Every day I would come home crying, beating and shouting, remembering my father's words. I had really wronged myself a lot. I couldn't understand how to get out of this quagmire, how to control all these things and how to rebuild my life. One day I called my cousin. This cousin was also my childhood friend. He picked up the call on the first ring. Hearing his voice, I started crying. For a few moments, he also became silent. I knew that he had recognized me. After a while, he spoke, and his voice was filled with only pain. He asked me why you did this to me. After hearing this, I apologized to him and told him that I did not want to do anything wrong to anyone. I was so compelled by love that I did not know, and I did a lot of injustice not only to you, but also to myself. After hearing this, he turned to me and said, "What kind of talk are you talking about? Are you okay? You have not been hurt in any way?" His tone still had concern for me, and this was hurting me a lot. I told him that I am safe, but my honor is not safe. Before I could say anything more, my mother-in-law suddenly snatched the mobile from my hands and scolded me and said, "How many times have I told you not to use the mobile? If your husband finds out about this, he will not leave us." After hearing my mother-in-law's words, I quickly wiped my tears and apologized to her, saying, "Mother, forgive me. I made a mistake. Actually, I was missing a friend of mine a lot. That's why she got the call. She told me to go quickly to my room. Your husband will be here soon." She was talking to me in a very bad tone. I also knew that the call was still going on. I was crying a lot because of my shame, but all this was my own doing, whatever I was reaping. The days were passing by quickly. Saturday also arrived. On Sunday, I had to appear before her. I was in a bad state of crying. One night, I was sitting in the courtyard. My health suddenly started deteriorating. I was very nervous. I don't know what was going on in my heart. I left the house and started running. I didn't know where I was going. On the way, I suddenly stumbled. hit the ground, and became unconscious. When I opened my eyes in the morning, I saw that she was lying on the side of the road. I got up and started running when I saw my husband sitting in front of me and stopped in fear. At that time, he was looking at me with very strange eyes. He grabbed my arm and started taking me towards the house. I was trying to get him to release my arm because today was that day. I was very nervous. I couldn't help but run away from here. I was begging him, "For God's sake, leave me alone. Let me go from here." But he wasn't listening to anything I said. After a while, he took me home. Right in front of me, that man was standing and looking at me with dirty eyes. Seeing him, I felt disgusted. I looked at my husband again. There was this smile on his face. He pushed me away. Before he took me inside, I heard my cousin's voice behind me. I was surprised to hear my cousin's voice. I turned around and saw my cousin standing behind me. He was looking at my face with smiling eyes. He told my husband that I have something important to tell you. Then he took my husband and father-in-law to the living room. After a while, the three of them came out, and my husband divorced me 3 times. I was not ready for all this at all. I started looking at his face in surprise. My cousin held my hand and silently took me away from there. I went into the car and started crying. He made me quiet and said to me, "Be grateful that you have escaped from your humiliating life." I told him that I had a roof over my head here, but now I have no place to live. He told me that your parents are waiting for you at home. "Isn't he angry with me?" I asked him uncertainly. He shook his head quickly in the negative. "He told me that your parents think that someone has kidnapped you and they are trying to find you. But your cousin had told me the whole story." I immediately fell silent after hearing what he said. After a while, he asked me again, "Can you accept me into your life now?" This was the second shock of surprise that I felt. I could not even imagine that he would ever ask me such a question again. I remembered that day very well when he had expressed his love for me and told me that he wanted to spend his whole life only with me. Then I felt bad after hearing him. Not only did I scold him a lot, but at the same time I slapped him on the face. I myself was surprised that where did I get so much courage? He did not say anything to me but kept looking at my face silently, and then he said, "You may treat me as badly as you want, but my love for you will never decrease. I will always wait for you. I will be there for you whenever you need me. This is my promise to you." I had hurt him a lot. I had shown his heart in a very bad way, yet he still wanted to adopt me. After listening to him, I smiled openly. Surely the happiness that I had always been waiting for was waiting for me. I knew my trial was over.